All right, what's up, guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, we have some new starter decks to go over. That's right, we have starter deck 23 and I believe starter deck 25. That's Shanks and Buggy. We have already gone over Purple, Black, Luffy, and Blackbeard. Those videos will be linked in the comment section below. And let me say this: we're going to be doing this in the same format as those videos, where, you know, I've got my camera enlarged over here because you can read the English font on the left, even though I'm covering up the description on the right. Excuse me. You'll be able to read that if you need to on the left. And we're just going to be going over that. That'll be the entirety of today's video. Okay, so let's get right into it. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have any relevant links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions or anything like that, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. We are going to be going through the entire starter deck, okay? Just to kind of see what new players are going to be getting their hands on, so we can, you know, look at the entire picture here to see how complete the deck looks at the end. Okay, so first up we have the leader with the new art. Looks very solid, and we're not going to spend much time on the old cards, guys, that everyone knows what they do. We're not going to spend much time on those. If you need to know what they do, pause and read the card. We're going to try to focus more on the newer cards. Okay, so here is the leader. Next up is Howling Gab. This is just a 5-cost 7K vanilla. Then we have Bonk Punch. So it looks like they will be including the Bonk Punch combo with Monster in the deck, and I think that's fine. I don't think it's a bad thing to include it in a starter deck like this, because it can, you know, help players fill out the board easier and stuff like that. Not too bad. We have Hongo, just a really solid 2K counter with power reduction. Here's Monster to go with Bonk Punch. Yasopp. Okay, very happy to see the Yasopp in here. This is a great inclusion for a starter deck for Shanks. It has power reduction built in. It can buff your leader when you play it. This is a great, great card for a Shanks starter deck. Lime Juice, a very high utility 2K counter. We'll take it every time. Lucky Roo, great blocker, very defensive option, so you can make it into the late game more easier with Shanks and, you know, set up in the late game. Great blocker decision here. Then we have Rockstar. Just a 4-cost 6K vanilla, you know, Search Bowl Red Hair Pirates character. Then we have Come On, We'll Fight You. Okay, so it looks like they did not add, at least we haven't seen it yet. It looks like there's no Uda in here, the red Searcher character. Instead, we have the event here. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Red Hair Pirates type card other than Come On, We'll Fight You, and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then trigger draw a card. So it looks like they did not give the Uda Searcher for this, you know, for this starter deck. But there is at least an event searcher. We will take that. Just any kind of searcher I feel like is needed. A certain amount of 2K counters and a certain amount of searcher power I feel like, or at least card draw, is needed in a starter deck. Good stuff here. Okay, here we go. Now on to the new cards. We have Uda. Okay, incredible art on this card, guys. Absolutely incredible art on this card. We have a 6-cost, 4,000 power, 2K counter blocker with, if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -4 cost. So, let me say this. I wish this was built more like Sanji, the purple Sanji card. It's like a 2K count. It's a 6-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter blocker that says if you have 2 or more less Dawn than your opponent or something like that, he can be a 3-cost. So that's very much a purple-themed condition to get cost reduction in hand for a card. I wish this card was the same way. Excuse me. In fact, I wish this card was literally the exact same, but with that red theme. So in other words, I wish it was a 6-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter blocker with, if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -3 costs. Like, literally set it to a 3-cost card just like that. Because I actually think the purple Sanji card is a fairly balanced card for what it's doing. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good card for the game, especially if they would spread that effect across all the colors. But yeah, I just feel like this card is a little understated for being a 4,000 power blocker. I don't quite understand why the blocker power is so low on this. The 2K counter, that's awesome. This is a great 2K counter. And in fact, I'm trying to think of it. Like, this is a very generic red card. This is not locked to any certain, like, leader or anything like that. So, or any type of type. So it's really not a hang on, let me see something. If you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -4 cost. So it's not even an original power of 10,000 power or more. So I wonder if there would be a way to buff your character like in a really cheap way, and then cheat this character out for 2 Dawn as a blocker. That's probably the best application I can think of. Man, this art looks so good on this card too, guys. I have to say, we're going to have to find a way to make this work. We're going to have to try to find a way to make this work, because this art looks incredible on Uda. But yeah, I'm just very sad at how they chose to make this such a low power character. A 4,000 power character? Not a huge fan of that. But yeah. Anyway, I will say this: the effect is it does have utility with other cards, because like we're going to look at a card in just a second here. Is it okay? It's actually the next card. In fact, let's move over to the next card so we can talk about Uda in conjunction with this Shanks. So there's a new 9-cost 10,000 power Shanks that has already been revealed, but we'll go over it again here in this video. This is a 9-cost 10k. If your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -3 cost. Okay. And then on play, if your leader has Red Hair Pirates type or is Uda, your leader gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So here we go yet again. All right, so let's just say in a turn, your opponent has an 8,000 power or bigger character on the board. You play this out for 6, right? And let's say you're on 10 Dawn. You play this out for 6 with the discount, and then you play out the Uda for 2 with her discount. So you still have 2 Dawn left for the turn. I feel like it would have made more sense if this was what I said, if it was a 6-cost, 6,000 power 2k counter that did -3 if your opponent has, or excuse me, if you have a 10,000 power or bigger character on the board, because then you could play this character down for 3 and still have 1 Dawn active, you know, from that whole interaction here, and you'd be able to sit on like Divine Departure. You developed a blocker, a big blocker, a 6k blocker, you'll be 7,000 power for the turn, and now you have this massive board. Maybe that would have been too strong. I don't know, because you still can do what I just said. You just lose 2,000 power. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But still, I do. Let me wrap up my thoughts on this Uda card so we can keep going. I think this card is good. I think it's fine. I just really wish they had treated this card in the same way they treated Purple Straw Hat Sanji. Like I said, one more time, 6-cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter blocker. With if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -3 cost. That's how I wish they had treated this. But as is, this is still a very solid card. It could have been better. I feel like this is a very undertuned card. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. That art, guys, looks so good. Okay, we did talk about this Shanks as well, just kind of like going back and forth between them. I think this card's excellent. Let me just mention this card by itself for a minute without even talking about it with the the Uda we just saw. This is actually just an excellent card to chain back to back to back, because it's going to be okay even if you don't have the restriction or the reduction, the cost reduction, no problem. 9 Dawn, 10k, I go to 7,000 power, and I just developed a massive body. Your turn. Okay, next turn, slam down another one. Next turn, slam down another one. It will be so hard to deal with that board state. And who's to say after all that you don't just start slamming down like these really, you know, even more massive characters like the 10-cost 12k Shanks that has Rush and gives -1,000 to the board after you just drop 3 9-cost 10ks in a row on them. I'm just saying, I do like this card quite a bit. I think this card's going to be excellent. I think it's even going to kind of push Shanks into a slightly different direction with the way you build it, where it's more like, okay, let me just go 4 Yasopps, because a lot of people were running that anyway, and then maybe I'll go 4 of this Shanks and maybe 2 of the 9-cost Edward Newgate that also buffs the power of your leader, and all of a sudden you're dealing with a deck that is extremely hard to attack into. It's like a full-on wall-type defense build, like a fortress-style build. Okay? All right, great card. Next up, we have Beckman. We have, okay, interesting art on this one. We have a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter character here with on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, and if your leader has the Red Hair Pirates type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 base power or less. Base power or less. Okay. Not as good as the 7-cost Beckman, that's for sure. And this only deals with base power and you're trashing a card from your hand. I'm not going to lie, I don't think this card's great. By all means, tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. I don't think we're going to spend much time on this card, but I'm not a huge fan of this one. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter stat line, that's solid. But having to trash a card from my hand, and then my leader still has to be Red Hair Pirates type, just to KO a 4,000 power 4,000 base power character or less on the board. I think this card is far too restrictive for what it's trying to do and for what it is. Not a huge fan of this card. This is like something I thought we were getting away from in the game of One Piece, where this is where, so when black first came out as a color in the game, this is how all removal was treated. You had 3 cost 4k, 1k counter Kobe, KO a 3 or less, trashing a card from your hand. The 5 cost Garp, rest the character, KO a 4 or less, and you have to trash a card from your hand. 6 cost 7k Sakazuki, it's, you play that out on play, trash a card to pop a 5 or less. I feel like we needed to get away from that. It was just simply too much of an investment. Like it just, I feel like it just wasn't enough. I don't know. Some people might disagree with that, and that's fine. But I thought we were getting away from that, and then this card gets printed. So who knows? We'll have to see what Bandai's trying to do. This is just a starter deck card, and it's not like it's the other ones we saw, the SR style cards that are meant to be more powerful. But still, I think this card is interesting. I don't think it's bad at all, but I don't think it's great. I don't even know if you'd want to keep. I don't think this one will make its way over to standard. Let me say it like that. Coming out of a starter deck, it's probably going to be just fine. Okay. Next up, we have Monkey D. Luffy. This is a card we've seen before as well here on the channel. It's a 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter character with activate main, rest one of your Dawn cards and this character, and then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. Not a huge fan of this. I did mention this in the previous video we talked about it in. I can't remember which video it was. I should have that linked down in the comment section below if you're interested. But ultimately, let me just summarize like this. I would rather just play something like a 1 cost Otama or for 2 Dawn, because this card costs 2 Dawn. Think about it. This is a 1 cost 2k, 1 cost 2,000 power card with a 1k counter, and it has activate main, rest of Dawn, and this character. So you're paying 1, and then you're resting 1, and then you're tapping the character down just to give minus 1,000 power to a character for the turn. I would rather just run Monet here, because there's the 2 Dawn invested already. You get to do the minus 1,000 and redirect the Dawn somewhere else. I'm just really not a fan of this card. We're going to keep moving. Okay. All right, we have another Yasopp here. So this is a 1 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter. Activate main once per turn. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. Okay, so now we have the Red Hair Pirates version of like the Dawn reassignment Nami. This is a great starter deck card. It's not like it's busted or anything like that. It's just a great utility piece that should be in probably most starter decks. Just this way to move Dawn around on a cheap 1 cost body that has a 1k counter. It's a very high utility card, and it's great to play early in the game when you don't have any other better plays. Awesome card here. Nothing special, nothing fancy, just very solid inclusion in a starter deck. Okay, and that's it. So that was it for the new starter deck, 23 for Shanks. Let me say this. I feel like it was missing... I guess it was missing events entirely, so they decided to just include the Searcher event over here. By the way, behind my head is the Yasopp, guys, in case y'all were wondering. So this is the entire deck here. I know my camera's in the way, but just bear with me. I would have rather them had the 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter Uda, Red Hair Pirate Searcher. But let me see something. Yeah, this can't even search up the Uda, can it? Hang on, let me look at the Uda one more time. Yeah, guys, this is a film card. So this is not even searchable. That's a little bit frustrating, I will say. So as far as like this deck goes in its entirety, I'm just talking about like a starter deck product. It does have 2k counters. It's fine on the 2k counter into things. It has a very solid mid game with these cards here like Yasopp and Lucky Roo. The late game with this Shanks. It has a searcher. It has 2k counter power, but I really do wish that it had a little bit more... how do I say this? I wish it had a little bit... I wish it did not have this search event. I'm just going to say it like that. And then for the event stuff, maybe they could have tried to include something like Divine Departure or a Rad Beam of some sort. Maybe that could have been something they tried to include. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. But overall, I do think this is a pretty solid product they have here for the Shanks starter deck. I know I'm sure some people would have wanted a little more from it. But Shanks kind of was already doing pretty well. And I think this card alone is already going to be enough to include into Shanks to move it in an even more competitive direction. And especially, one thing I was just thinking about, so if your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, if you're going to be able to start slamming this down for like 6,000, or for 6 cost, where you have 4 Dawn left to play with for the turn on your 10 Dawn turns, you're going to be able to combo that with cards like Lucky Roo or the 4 cost 6K Chopper we talked about earlier. So a lot of good stuff here. I'm actually a pretty big fan of how they built the starter deck, but some cards I wish were maybe a little better tuned. Okay, all right, good stuff. So that's Shanks. Let's go ahead and move over to Blue Buggy. Okay, let's bring up the leader. All right, so here's the new art for Buggy. I am a huge fan of this art. For some reason, I like this art better. Maybe it's just the blues and the pinks there. It has that cotton candy feel. Really big fan of this art. I like it even better than the Shanks one we just saw. But I will say this, not to make art into a competition here, guys, but I think so far I've liked the purple-black Luffy leader the best out of all the new starter decks, just for the art alone. Nothing other than that. Okay, here we go. So we got Buggy. This is just, a reprint. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go over all the old cards first and into the new stuff. So they did put Alvida in here, just a nice 5 cost 6K to cheat out with your leader effect if you ever need to. Actually, excuse me, not with your leader effect, but with other effects like the Crocodile or the Buggy, the 7 cost Buggy. Good stuff here, and it does have on KO to if your leader has cross guild type, play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 less other than Alvida from your hand. This is just good to have in here in case you're playing against a deck with a lot of removal. Okay, you got rid of my 1/5 cost character, now I'm going to play out another one potentially. Okay, good stuff. Cabaji, 5 cost 2K counter, we'll take it with cross guild searchability. The 10 cost 12K Buggy, that makes sense. This is just, you have to run this. If you're not running this card in your Buggy list, what are you even running Buggy for? This is a great card to have in there, of course. Another 2K counter, 5 cost, the Mohji, the one that searches up Richie. Of course, they have Richie in here as well. That is a nice little, I've seen a combo before where it's like you play out, I think it's like Crocodile or Buggy into this Mohji, into this Richie, which is very nice at filling out the board, getting some defensive capabilities. Good stuff. Mr. 1, Dawes Bones, just a great, this is Cross Guild character here, 5 cost 7K vanilla. And then, I just thought about something for Shanks. I'll have to bring it up later. No, I'll bring it up right now. I'm sorry, guys. I have to talk about this right now. I'm surprised they did not put a 6 cost 8,000 power character into Shanks for the, or not a 6, an 8 cost 10K. I'm surprised they didn't put an 8 cost 10K vanilla character into the Shanks starter deck, so that you have another character to go with that Uda. I don't know. That could have been kind of cool. Anyway, that was random, I know, but let's keep going. All right, so next up we have, so this was Mr. 1, Dawes Bones, just a nice 5 cost character for the deck, 5 cost of vanilla. See, now, and Buggy is going to get a searcher. They get the 1 cost 2,000 power Mr. 3 Galdino searcher to do a top 4 search for Cross Guild or a card with a type including Baroque Works, other than Mr. Galdino. Very solid searcher for the deck. And another searcher. See, now this deck has 2 searchers. I like that a lot. And 1 cost, top 4 searcher, Cross Guild, the event here. Trigger, activate main. Okay, so it looks like they are going to be putting the promo Buggy in here. People said this would happen. People said, hey, this is going to happen, and they were right. Okay, very nice. I was hoping they were right, by the way, so it drives the price down of the card overall. Really, really happy to see this card in here. It is very necessary for Buggy, in my personal opinion. It's a 7 cost, 8,000 power character with this character cannot attack, and if your leader is Buggy, all characters with a cost of 3 or 4 cannot attack, yours and your opponent's. And then on play, you can play up to 1 Cross Guild type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. So this is like the combo I was talking about before with Mohji. This is a Cross Guild character, so you can play out the Buggy. You can cheat the Buggy out with your leader effect, which will cheat out this Mohji, which will do a top 5 search and potentially find Richie to play that out as well. Really good stuff there. Okay, so big fan of them putting this into the deck. This was, yeah, hey, good job. It's fine to be critical and call stuff out when it needs to be, when someone needs to call it out. But we also have to, give the praise when it's due as well. Good stuff here by Bandai. Very happy they chose to include this. It was much needed. Good stuff. Okay. Very happy to see that. I'm not going to lie, guys. That needed to happen. I wish they would do that with every single starter deck, guys. I wish they would look across all the different decks in the game and be like, okay, we need to reprint this card in a starter deck just to help with the price and because it just needs to be in there. It just makes sense. Okay. Next up, we have Alvida. We have gone over this card before on the channel. It's a 4 cost 5K, 1K counter. If you have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more, this character gains +1 cost. 5 is a very important number for this deck with, with the 10 cost Buggy. And then on play, if your leader is Buggy, you get to do a draw 3, trash 2. We'll take it every single time. Really, really good stuff here. Okay, so here's a new card. 4 cost, 1,000 power. I guess this was technically a new card as well, guys. I should have spent more time on this, but I have gone over this before. Let me just say this real quickly. This is an excellent card to use going second right on curve. You get to play this out for 4 Dawn, and you get to do a draw 3, trash 2 with Buggy, and then on your next turn, for your 6 Dawn turn, you can attack for 6 with your leader or do a search or something with an event or a searcher, and then you can spend 5 for your leader's effect, trashing a card, and then playing out the 7 cost Buggy, cheating out another 5 cost, and now you have a third 5 cost. This becomes one with Alvida's effect turns her into a 5 cost character. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Cabaji. So this is another new card. It's a 4 cost, 1,000 power. Okay. Whenever I see a power that low, I'm immediately thinking this is either some kind of blocker or there better be some insane effect built in. 2k counter. Okay, that's a good start. That is a good start. And then it has, if you have 2 or more, excuse me, if you have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more, this character gains blocker and +1 cost. Okay, and on your opponent's turn, he gets a plus 5,000 power. Okay, very nice. So then he becomes a 6k blocker. Yeah, this is a solid utility 2k counter, guys. I understand that some people, I understand that this is a conditional blocker effect, but here's the thing about Buggy and the way it works. You're not going to use this card to sacrifice it if you don't have enough of these 5 cost cards on the board already, which is going to turn into the 6,000 power blocker. The 5 cost 6,000 power blocker it turns into. So I think this is actually a great card for Buggy, and it's a 2k counter. Yeah, this is awesome. These 2 new cards here, the Alvida, I love what they're doing with the 4 cost stuff in Buggy, like the 4 cost 5k and this is really a 4 cost 6k, and this one's a 2k counter. Yeah, really big fan of this card. I think this is a great addition to the deck. Big fan. Great picture too. This is probably my favorite picture of Cabaji I've seen so far. I like how you can see the hat better, and he's got the hair covering one eye. He has that menacing look going out the other way there. And look at him. You see he's got the wine glass there. Calculated. He knows he's plotting. Something's about to happen, man. I love that. Really great picture. Anyway, this card, I think this is going to be a welcome addition to Buggy. Tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Buggy was already a tight list before it got any of this new support from the starter deck. It's going to be very interesting to see how people balance Buggy moving forward to make everything fit in there, because this is a great card, and so is this Alvida, and we're not even done yet. Okay. Next up, we have Crocodile and Mihawk. Okay, here we go, guys. We got Crocodile and Mihawk. All right, hang on. So we have an 8 cost 7,000 power character. Okay, interesting. So instead of being like an 8 cost 8k or an 8 cost 9k or something like that, this is an 8 cost 7k. So it actually goes down in power. So I expect this effect to be very powerful. It has Cross Guild and Former Baroque works for the type. And the effect is on play, draw 2 and trash 1 card from your hand, then play up to 1 Cross Guild type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. Okay, yeah, so what's going on here, guys, is you're going to be able to play out these new Cabaji and Alvida cards, which is really nice. Draw 2, trash 1, then play play up to 1 Cross Guild type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. And then if your Cross Guild, and then once per turn, if your Cross Guild type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand instead. So I will say this. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of trying to process this real quick. I love the draw 2, trash 1. That's great. And then it has additional upside to be able to cheat out a 4 cost or lower, which will kind of act as a 5 cost in this deck if it's the Alvida or the Cabaji here. That's really good. But other than that, I'm not super impressed with this card because I mean, guys, remember, we already have access to the Buggy. We're going to go back to Buggy real quick. This is a 7 cost 8k that just completely shuts down your opponent's board at the turn on which you play this on curve. Because think about it. You have to really consider how good is this card going to be playing it out on curve. Okay, well, this we get to play on turn 3, right? Going first or second, we're playing this out on turn 3. Let's say we go first where we play it out right on 5 Dawn with our leader effect. We play this card, we trash a card with our leader effect, play this card down, and it cheats out a 6 cost 7k Mihawk blocker sometimes, or one of our other 5 costs, or it can even cheat out. These are both Cross Guild, right? Alvida Yeah, and Cabaji, they are still cross-guild, so I can already cheat those cards out with this Buggy. And this has the additional effect of being able to shut down all of the aggro decks in the game for the most part, like at least to some extent. So we already have access to this card that can fill out the board and has additional effects built in. But I will say, the best part about Crocodile and Mihawk, and by the way, there's another card that does that, Crocodile. It's a 7-cost Crocodile that does a very similar thing as what the Buggy does. Or it might be a 6. I think it's a 7. Yeah, it's a 7-cost Crocodile that can also cheat out cards as well. But this one does cheat out cards as well. And it does have a draw 2 trash one built in. And I think the best part about this card is that second part, the once per turn. If your cross-guild type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash one card from your hand instead. I think that once per turn effect might be the best part about this card. It's definitely worth running, by the way. I'm not saying like that, there's no reason to run this. It's actually going to be a great card to run, especially with the new 4 cost we already looked at. But yeah, I don't know if this card needed to be a 7K. Again, I feel like they undertuned it a little bit, but I guess, hey, it is what it is. 7,000 power is still nothing to scoff at, and it is a draw 2 trash when it has a ton of utility. It's just like I said, we have to fit these cards in the deck. There has to be enough room for us to run. Maybe this replaces the old Crocodile. I don't know though. That card was pretty good, cheating out a 5 cost. It was just cheating out a 5 cost normally. Maybe this card does replace the Crocodile. We'll have to see. Hey, for all the Buggy mains out there, please help me out in the comment section below. How are we gonna run it like 4 of the 7 cost Buggy, 4 of this Crocodile Mihawk, and then maybe 2 of the Crocodile, the 7 cost that cheats them out? Or how are you gonna move the numbers around? Or are you just running 4 of each? Because like I said, the deck was already very tight. It was already very hard to build. But who knows? This card is a 2K counter that we can cheat out with anything we were just talking about, I think. And that could, maybe this fixes the deck enough with the Alvida here and the Cabaji. Maybe they fixed the deck enough where we can fit in all of these characters that can cheat cards out and do other really incredible things. Great card, though. Really good card. Don't misunderstand me, guys. I'm not saying this is a bad card. This card is really solid. Okay, next up, we have Buggy. Okay, so this is the SR that we have already seen. We've already reviewed this one. It's a 4-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter character with activate main, trash one card from your hand, and trash this character. If your leader is Buggy, play up to 1 cross-guild type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand, okay? Not bad. It is a 1K counter. It's a 4-cost card, another card we can play out on curve. And it's one of those cards where, like, let me say this. I think, someone correct me in the comment section below if I'm off. I don't know if it's going to be in this video. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to, like, sneak through the rest of it. Okay, it's not. So I believe there is a new 6-cost, 7,000 power, 2K counter vanilla card that has been spoiled for OP12. Again, I'm sorry for the spoiler, guys, but it is just a 2K counter vanilla. But in this case, if it is a cross-guild card, then that's actually probably going to be pretty decent because we could cheat out a 6-cost 7K that is a 2K counter, like versatility type card. It's a utility type card. So yeah, that could be pretty good. Worst case scenario, it can cheat out some of these 5-cost and 4-cost cards like the Cabaji and like Alvida, but at that rate, why wouldn't you just play them for 4? You know what I mean? It's like, no, I think the thing we need to focus on is actually playing this out to cheat out a 6-cost or maybe a 5-cost character if we have to, if we're not on curve. So we'll have to see what happens. But the biggest problem with this card is it does not replace itself in hand. So you're going to play this card from your hand, right? So you minus 1 card from your hand, and it's a 4-cost that really doesn't do anything else. It's a 1,000 power card. It's just meant for the effect, right? Okay, so you play this card out, you go minus 1 in hand, and then activate main, you trash 1 card from your hand, okay? So you're going minus 1 more in hand. And then you're going to play out, if your leader is Buggy, play up to 1 cross-guild type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. You just went minus 3 cards from your hand just to cheat out a 6-cost or lower cross-guild card. So, excuse me, I don't know if this card's going to make it into the deck, unfortunately. We'll have to see what all we can cheat out, because I think the 6-cost, 7,000 power Mihawk, I believe that is a cross-guild card, right? Let me go back real quick. Yeah, I know for a fact it is because it was like the main card. I know for a fact that card is because this was the main card you would cheat it out with before, the 7-cost 8K Buggy. So, the 6-cost 7,000 power Mihawk that's already in the game, you'll be able to cheat that out with this effect, and that is at least a draw 2 trash one. So it's only going to be like a -2 in that situation. So who knows? Maybe this will be a card you have in the deck as like a 2 of, like a 1 or a 2 of for utility. When you in the 4 cost spot, maybe you'll have like 2 of these. So 2 of these, and then 4 Cabaji, and then 4 Alvida, and that's 10 cards for like your 4 cost spot for your turn 2 going second. We'll have to see what happens. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Overall, I wish the card did something more interesting than this, or just straight up something better than this, but I do love the art for it. It's too bad that this card is as weird and strange as it is, because that art goes crazy. Really big fan of that art. All right, next up we have Mohji. Okay, another 2K counter and a 4 cost card. So 4 cost, 1,000 power, 2K counter. If you have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more, this character gains blocker and +1 cost. Okay, and we have an on KO effect here. If your leader is Buggy and you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw a card. So if they do remove this card, or if you have to block with it, if they remove it through KO type removal, or if you block with it where it gets KO'd in battle, you're going to be able to draw a card if you have 3 or less cards in your hand and your leader's Buggy. So this is a great utility 2K counter. So here we go. Back to what we were saying, it's going to be very hard to justify running a card like Buggy when we have incredible 4 cost 2K counter utility cards in the deck, like this Mohji and like this Cabaji right here. It's going to be very, very hard to justify fitting this card into the deck. We'll have to see, though. But this card, this Mohji is excellent. I like this way better than the other Mohji we've already seen. Let me see. I don't want to blast through the slides too much, but the 5 cost 2K counter Mohji that searches up Richie, I like this one much, much more than the other one. Okay? So really good stuff here. Great blocker. It's basically a 4 cost blocker. It's a 4 cost that turns into a 5 cost blocker, has a 2K counter built in, and then when it gets removed, you get to draw a card if you have 3 or less cards in hand. Excellent card. Excellent. Okay, and then we're back to the beginning. Excuse me. We're back to the beginning. So let's look at this deck in its entirety here. My head is in the way. Just know that at the bottom here we have Buggy, the new Mohji, and then this is, of course, the 7 cost Buggy and the 1 cost Searcher event. So overall, I think the way that they built this deck was pretty solid. I am a big fan of this one as well. I think they did a good job with these starter decks so far. They have the 2K counter power they need. Looks like they're going to have the top end that they need. The mid game is pretty decent as well for both Shanks and Buggy. I think it was for Blackbeard and Purple Black Luffy as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But as far as like Shanks and Buggy go for today's video, I think they have a solid top end card. They have Searcher power. They have 2K counter power. The mid game is going to be great with all these 5 cost cards and 4 cost cards for Buggy. And yeah, overall, like I said, guys, I think you have to remember, guys, this is just a starter deck, right? And for the starter deck offering that they give here, this is actually, I think it's excellent. I think they did a really good job with this. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comment section below. But yeah, that's about it for today's video. You guys tell me, again, tell me what you think. Out of the 2, I will say I think that Buggy got some better support than Shanks did. Probably by a pretty decent margin, because when we look at all these cards down here at the bottom, this Alvida, this Cabaji, this Croc, and this Mohji are all very playable cards. We'll have to see about this Buggy. I'm not sure about this one just yet. It might be, it might not be. But hey, that's okay. 4 out of 5 of the brand new cards are really good, and they're introducing this new. Excuse me, they're putting the promo in the new starter decks. Awesome job by Bandai, man. You got to give credit where credit's due, right? Now we are. Let me just go back to the. Let's summarize with Red Shanks as well, real quick. With this deck. So one thing I was saying when I was halfway through the Buggy review, or at the beginning of the Buggy review, is I was saying with this card right here. Notice how it says if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -4 cost. I'm surprised, instead of this Howling Gab, I'm surprised they didn't print like a 7 or 8 cost character that's like a 9 or 10,000 power character. So, okay, I'll just attach 1 Dawn to like a 9,000 power character to put him at 10, and then I can slam down this Uda for 2 Dawn. Right? That would have been a pretty cool interaction with the deck, in my opinion. I understand it works with the Shanks. I get that. But hopefully you guys see what I'm trying to say, is like it'd have been nice if they put a vanilla in the deck that corresponded or like that worked perfectly with this Uda. But yeah, other than that, guys, hopefully y'all see, I'm trying to make this Uda work. Hopefully y'all see that. I'm trying to make this Uda work. That art looks so awesome. But I will say this, out of all of these new cards that Shanks got, I think the clear best card is this Shanks. And I think this is a great card, by the way. really good stuff. And who knows, I do think that Shanks was the better deck all around before the starter decks came out anyway. Like better than Buggy, I'm saying. So it only needed a little bit extra support. I think I do think that this Shanks will be a good addition to the deck. The Beckman though, the Luffy, and the Uda, very hard to justify playing that in the deck. That's just my honest opinion. The Yasopp, not so bad, though. I'm not against the Yasopp. I think that's a great card, like I said before. I think it's a good card to have in any starter deck. Just a one-cost red Dawn reassigner. Awesome stuff there. Okay, we do have to go over the others real quick. I have to see something real quick. All right, so here's the purple-black one. I will have it linked in the videos, in the comment section below. I just wanted to see something real quick. See, look at this, guys. They even put an 8-cost, 10,000 power character in purple Luffy for one of the new cards. It's too bad they didn't put an 8-cost, 10,000 power character in Shanks as well, especially like a vanilla one. Some type of like, well, see, they did put a 5-cost 7K in here and a 4-cost 6K. Is that something they do? Maybe that is something they go for like the 4-cost 6K and the 5-cost 7K vanillas for each game, or for each, not for each game, for each starter deck. Very cool stuff there. Anyway. Let me lock back in. Let me focus in here. I do think, yeah, so same idea with this deck, though. They gave it a good search, a good starter deck, like searcher package with a purple-black Luffy. You have the, actually, what am I talking about? They didn't really have a searcher in this one, and that was my biggest complaint about purple-black Luffy. I remember that now, guys. It took me a second. It does have some way to cycle cards with Gum Gum Giant and stuff like that. Well, actually, really, that's about it in this deck, I think. Yeah, that's the only way to really search through this deck is by using Gum Gum Giant. So I wish they had put a searcher in Purple Black Luffy. And now let's go back. We got one more to look at, Marshall D. Teach. And hopefully they come out with those other two very soon now. Now, Marshall D. Teach, this deck did seem very complete. They have been giving 2K counters across the board to all the starter decks, so that's good to see that they understand that is very necessary. But this deck seemed very complete, other than the fact that it did not have a lot of top end. But I do think they expect you to put the 10-cost 12K Teach in a deck like this if you are trying to make it a little more competitive, and then your top end is taken care of. So this deck had tons of searcher power with Lafitte and the stage. It had the so searcher power is taken care of. Removals taken care of, your mid games taken care of with the Kuzan, the San Juan Wolf, and the removal and the Burgess, and then your 2K counters are good as well. Yeah, this seems like a very complete deck as well. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead. I'll end off on the Buggy with the Buggy leader in the background here. Overall, I think they've done a very good job with these starter decks so far. I understand some people are probably going to be frustrated with some of these cards that are released. I'm just like you guys. I'm a player as well. Even though I do a bunch of talking about this, and I'm mainly about doing videos like educational stuff or doing like off-meta stuff. Remember, I'm a player too. I do love this game. I love the game of One Piece. I wish some of these cards were a little better. I'll be right there. I'll be honest with everybody. I'm 100% transparent on it. I try to be. And I wish some of these cards were a little bit better. Like I was just saying about this card, and like I was saying about the Uda, the red 6-cost Uda, the cards look incredible. So it feels really bad when it feels like the art gets wasted on a card that's like almost unplayable. So yeah, I wish the cards were better, but let's just consider what the piece is in its entirety. I think these new starter decks look really, really good so far. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's please keep it nice. Please keep it respectful. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say. I'm done. Let me get the outro page on here to finish it, to finish everything out. Look how big my head is, man. We got to fix that. There we go. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, part of the Discord community, however you're helping me out, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much in in all the ways you're choosing to help me out. I really do appreciate it. You guys are incredible. What a great community we have here. All right, hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.